Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. I have two Kentucky straight bourbon whiskeys. And this one is Old Charter, one of the really old brands. And I mean, it actually really is old. It's not one of these things that's like pretend old. Old number 8 brand. Now, I'm going to show you the website, and it's still, they show in the old bottles that say aged 8 years. It's no longer aged 8 years. But they put that on there maybe to, well, they put that on there. All right, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, Old Charter Distilling Company. No, there is no Old Charter Distilling Company. It's Buffalo Trace, the Sazerac Company. All right. $80 proof. Distilled, aged, and bottled. Okay. Gently matured for many seasons in old brick houses. Okay. Which I've been in a couple of those rick houses. I went to one in old. I went into one at Buffalo Trace, and I went into one at Barton 1792 Distillery and at Jack Daniels Distillery. And they were telling me at the Barton 1792 Distillery how dangerous those rick houses were. And the girl was saying, you see this plumb line hanging? Yes, we could see it. She said it has to be in this circle. There was a circle below. She said that string has to be hanging completely straight by the lead weight. She said because if it's going this way or that way, that means that the rick house is leaning from all the weight from the barrels, and that you have to immediately run out and escape because it's going to fall. And I thought, that's really something. Is it more like a tourist thing that they're showing us, or could it really happen? And about a week after I got back from the tour, that was headline news that one of the rick houses at Barton 1792 collapsed. And she said she said the rick house we were in wasn't really that big. It only held 22,000 barrels. And the thing collapsed, and all the barrels rolled out and burst everywhere. And a lot of them, of the bourbon, spilled into the Kentucky River, and it killed a lot of fish. And they had gotten a lot of trouble, environmental damage and everything. So it was a big mess. And I think one man was killed. I think one of the workers was killed. So that was a bad situation for Barton 1792 Distillery, owned by the Sazerac Company. You say, well, they got insurance. Yeah, I know, but they're not looking for that to happen, all right? Because they lose all the bourbon, and worse, they lose the life of one of their employees. Another danger of those rick houses, of those distilleries, they're very dangerous, flammable. There's a highly flammable liquid. And once the fire starts, it's almost impossible to put it out. It burns so hot. Like at Heaven Hill back in the 90s, there was a bad fire and just was white hot, melted everything, destroyed the whole distillery. I think some people were killed there too. Maxwell says, good morning. Jay, good morning to you, Maxwell. All right, so I poured a little bit too much Old Charter, but I'm not going to add more to the other. It's not too far off. Old Charter is more golden amber, and this one's more copper amber. The Evan Williams 1783. Now, 1783 that I've got was introduced in 2021. They jumped it up to 90 proof. And they say on the website it's aged 6 to 8 years. There is no age statement on the bottle. I close my eyes. Now, I've gotten it confused already. I got the Jim Beam Black, the Davies County double mash bill, and the Evan Williams green label confused with this 1783. So it doesn't have enough unique qualities to differentiate it very easily from many of the others that are similar to it. Davies County was 96 proof. The Jim Beam Black was 86 proof. Or was it 90? 86. But the Evan Williams green label was only 80 proof, and I still got it confused, but the flavors were similar. I thought I'd be able to tell though by the body and the feeling of it, like you could feel the weight, the specific, the specific gravity, the heaviness of it, the alcohol level, the strongerness of it, but it didn't work out that way. All the rest I got correct. So apparently 1783 has been on the market a long time, maybe over 50 years. But it's not a trademarked name. That's why I couldn't find any trademark data on it. Evan Williams, yes. Evan Williams, yes. Trademark data, 1955. That's when the name Evan Williams was first used in commerce as a trademarked product. So no, it's not from 1783. That's just a marketing thing where they find these old obscure, they're kind of obscure whiskey producers, and then they'll write up a fancy story, much of which is probably true, and then they'll put it on the label, and the company putting it on their label may have no connection to the person they're touting, except maybe like they're in Kentucky, Evan Williams, Zachariah Harris, Jethro T. Boots, Jim Beam. Well, Jim Beam was a real guy in the 1930s, actually, but Beam, yes, so that's a little bit different. They just, like I say, James Fox from Canada, James Fox whiskey. He was some like obscure Canadian politician who had some involvement with the liquor industry regulating and all that. So they just do that, and then it makes it seem like, oh man, one of the classic brands. Well, Zachariah Harris is not no classic brand. It's only been on the market since about 20, I think it was 09. I have to look it up. It's not long. Good eggnog though. I see it usually every year, the Zachariah Harris eggnog, and it's pretty good. Yeah. Can't say about the bourbon because I never had it. Jean-Pierre did. He said he liked it, but I never had it. Yet. It's also from Buffalo Trace, but they don't talk about it on their website. I guess it's so low shelf they don't want to address it. Although they do talk about 10 high in some cases, and that one's even lower. Oh man. All right. But Old Charter is a legitimate old brand. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. It actually has been on the market since 1874 continuously, well, except for Prohibition. But I think it might have been one of those bourbons that was grandfathered in for so-called medicinal purposes during that period. Not sure. Now, there's some other Old Charters that you may run across. You might find an older bottle says age 8 years. That'd be cool to find that. You might find some of their specialty Mongolian oak, Chinkapin oak, French oak, and I believe there's some other ones coming out. And they got a different type bottle. Their bottle is more like this Evan Williams bottle, those specialty Old Charter. It's like got wide shoulders and it tapers down. But they're not cheap, and I don't know if they're any good or bad. I would assume they're good because coming from Buffalo Trace, they don't really make bad stuff. But I haven't really seen them around much. I have seen them, kept shop, but I didn't buy it. But Old Charter, Walmart got rid of these bottles, these 750s, and I never can figure out what Walmart's up to. They do bizarre things that seemingly make no sense. But they got rid of these bottles, and they wanted to get rid of them fast, so they took a $16 bottle and they sold them for $8. True story. $16, they sold it for $8. Now they got the big glass handle bottles, the big bottles. I call them the jug bottles. It looks like a jug. And they're I don't know what they cost. $30. It's always in stock. But it does seem that it sells. You'll see it get low and then it gets full again, gets low. This one is about $18.99. I saw it at McThern's this past week. But I got it for $9. Thank you, Sean. He found this for $9. He had to go to Walmart for work, for some work, and then he saw it. He was like, "Oh man, can you believe it?" I said, "I couldn't believe it, really." I mean, I could believe it because it's Walmart, and they do those bizarre things like when they get rid of something, they sell it for half price. That's to start. And if it doesn't move, then they'll drop the half price a half. But usually when they take these liquors and they drop them to half price, it's gone. If you don't get there within 1 hour, you'll never see it. They had a whole shelf full of that Hornitos Cristalino. That's $32. Or maybe it's more than that. And they had it for $10. I said, $10. Bought it. Told the lady at work. I said, Jeanette, they got them for $10. She said, I'm going past by there when I leave work. I said, they'll probably all be gone, but she said, I'm going to check it out. And she said, it might be 10 years before I drink it because I got a lot of tequila. She said, but I know that's got to be a deal and a half. I said, you got that right. And she went, she said they had one bottle left. Was pushed way to the back. Maybe people didn't see it underneath the shelf. So she bought it. Okay, cheers, taste. Oh, I don't think Old Charter has this much oak. See, Old Charter is kind of bland, but this one has strong oak. They might be using a number 3 char on this one, and it's got the vanilla, and it's got the sugar sweetness, and it's got the honeysuckle nectar, which is probably part of the sugar sweetness. Medium bodied and a dry finish. 6 to 8 years, youngest whiskey in the blend. 6 years, oldest is 8. I can go along with that. I can see that. I can feel that. I can understand that. I can believe that. Old Charter, now it's just extra age. It's probably 4 years. It's got to be at least 4 years. It's got no age statement. So it's at least 4 years old. Yeah, but it's probably more than that. Certainly not 8. Yeah, it's probably about 6. And it's but I don't know that. But it's seems to be a competitor with like Jim Beam Extra Age, the black label, which these days is just extra age, no longer 8-year age. So I think that's where they're going with that. I'm gonna get back to the comments in an amendment. Okay, in an amendment. So here we got the Old Charter link on the Sazerac.com website. There's other links now because Sazerac got about 5 web, but it says the Old Charter story began in 1874 when Adam and Ben Chapezi named their whiskey after the charter oak on Willis Hill. I assume that's pronounced Willis Hill or Willis in Hartford, Connecticut. I'm thinking it's Willis Hill. 600-year-old symbol of the charter oak represents American freedom and independence. The name conveys the significant role that white oak barrels play in the making of the greatest American whiskeys. Adam and Benzi. Is that a Jewish name? Adam, Benjamin. Sounds like it to me. Alex had mine. Okay, over here. I'm not going to show you all. There's the Evan Williams 1783 small batch website. Part of the website. Yeah, there you go. That's the regular bottle. I have American Heroes edition bottle from last year. Yes, yes. Okay. It's got to be Old Charter because it's too light. It is. Okay. I don't mean it's too light to where it's not good. It's just too light to be Evan Williams. It's too, you could tell the proof is 990. Campfire Music says, I'm listening. Cool. Happy face. And Herbie says, hangover. No, I'm not going to get a hangover. Not with these little sips. Now, I had people that will comment on my videos, live videos, talking about, oh, I feel so terrible. I have a terrible hangover. I drank a 12-pack of Ice House last night, stuff like that. I said, well, why would you want to drink a 12-pack of beer in one day, much less one night? You know, that's craziness. Just get it under control, you know. Beer's made for sipping, not chugging. I know they got people make these videos where they want to chug beer and all, and they're showing off, but that's what, of course, do what you want. I'm not telling people not to do it, what they want to do. Do whatever you want to do. It's your life, but I'm a libertarian, you know, but I'd probably be a good candidate for their party, but they wouldn't support me because then I would say things they didn't like, and they're very like touchy people. Know-it-alls, you know. But I'm thinking 12-pack in one night. Now I try to drink and taste on a schedule. Okay, that's just me. 22 to 24 beers a week. 22 at the low end, 24 at the high. I'm talking about 12-ounce cans or bottles. I'm not talking about drinking 40-ounce bottles and calling it one beer, because no, that's almost 4 beers. Okay, you can play games and think you're fooling somebody, but you're not really fooling yourself. You're probably not fooling the people you think you're fooling. But yeah, 22 to 24 12-ounce beers per week. A little whiskey tasting here and there. You don't want to get that out of control. Maybe 2 ounces of wine with lunch. And I'm literally telling you the truth about 2 ounces of wine with lunch. Now, not with breakfast and not with supper, just lunch. And honestly, you watch my wine reviews, what do I always say? I say it takes me about a month to drink a bottle of wine. Then you won't see another wine review for a month, because it takes me about a month to drink a bottle of wine. I'm not in a rush to drink it. I got all kind of wine lined up on the counter, but I must have 8 bottles because my Thurns had a sale of Lindemans. I bought 4 bottles yesterday. I thought I was getting 4 new ones, but 2 of them I already had, the Shiraz and the red blend. I said, oh man. But anyway, I can revisit those. They were good anyway, so it's not a great tragedy, but I would have preferred getting 4 new bottles. But for $2.99 a bottle, super sale, yeah, ain't no loss there. Right on, says Campfire Music by AEGF. Thank you. I mean, and that's it. You say, well, that's a very boring life. You drinking your little 2 beers after work, and on your day off, you're drinking 4 beers, spacing them out all day. At 8 o'clock in the morning, then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then you do one at 3, then you drink your final one at 4:30 or 5. Somebody at work said, you're such a nerd. You must have no life. I say, look, it's my life. You do what you want. You do you, and I'll do me. You know, I don't care what you do. And I'm honest. Now I might in my mind think what he's doing is unwise. I'm not going to sit here and preach to somebody who's 58 years old, but he's telling me, oh yeah, I drank a whole case of beer in a day, a whole case of Bud Light in one day. Now, to me, that's out of control, maniac madness. But once again, do what you want. I don't care. I mean, I care, but you know what I'm saying? I don't care in the sense that I'm trying to be in your business. And I never tell him anything. Well, I mean, I kid around with him and stuff, but I never tell him anything like, I demand that you stop drinking. You know, of course, if he tells me he's low on money, I might tell him something like, he's like, man, I got no money. I say, oh, I can imagine that's true. If you're spending this enormous amount of money each month or week on beer, and then it's bad enough you're going to drink all this Bud Light, but you're drinking a premium beer, and you could be saved. I say you could be buying a 30-pack of light beer for $19.99. Oh, he said I wouldn't drink that trash. I said, yeah, you probably couldn't even tell it apart, but you're never gonna. I said, but you never did a blind taste test, so how you gonna know? But he did say he would do it though. He said, you bring it to my house, I'll do the taste test. He said, I'll show you. I said, okay, you won't show me, but he might, and if he does, fine. Then he told me the other day, I got to stop smoking. I said, why, you getting sick? He said, no, it's costing too much. I said, yeah, once again, you're buying the best cigarettes. I understand that. But it's costing. I was talking to a guy yesterday. He said he smokes Crowns. They're called Crowns, little cheap cigarettes. He said, I can't tell them apart from Marlboro. I said, well, I don't smoke cigarettes ever, but I said, but you could save money. You may as well save the money if it's a good substitute. Now, it's all about trade-offs. But anyway, so the guy, maybe I am too much of a hobbyist and I don't have enough fun, but your kind of fun, I don't want to have it because it's not fun to me. All right. So no, I don't remember in college when I used to drink and get drunk because I never drank when I was in college. I used to have a real sensitive stomach till I was 19 years old. Now I get sick easy. I don't know what was wrong with me. But so the last thing I want to do is drink alcohol. Although I used to drink all those soft drinks and those were worse, really. But as far as liquor, I never had any scintilla of interest in that. Except I used to like the advertisements, things like that. But I never even drank any kind of liquor till around 8 years ago. And that's only I did that because of pressure. People were saying, when are you going to review whiskey? They kept, it was like 3 times a week I was getting comments. I said, I don't know anything about whiskey. I'm not a person to review it. What am I going to do? But then I kept hearing it and I was like, well, there's got to be something to liquor that people talk about it 8 days a week and 25 hours a day. I said, I'll try it. But I know what's going to happen. I'm going to like it. And then I'm going to want to keep trying every brand in the world. And I did. And now I do. Wine, it was the first thing I had drank. Wine. I drank in 94. And then I just kept, but I never made a big hobby out of it. Probably related to the fact that I'm not really too much on fruit of any sort. Jay, you sound just like me, says Tab. You mean we have the same voice? Or are you talking about the content of what I'm saying? Okay. So the taste challenges come from the idea of people saying that, oh, I know my bourbon, whatever brand. And then they'll be all there talking about this brand is trash. This is trash. This is trash. This is wonderful. This is the best. And I'm like, well, you don't really know that because you never did. I'm talking about comparable products now. But I said, but you never did a blind taste test. So you don't really know until you do it blind. Then you might know. And I tell them the thing you dogging on, you talking trash, you're saying horrible things about this bourbon, horrible things, none of which I think make any sense. They're not true. And I don't think you could tell it apart. And then that's where the taste test idea comes from. Know how you started drinking, not your voice. Okay. Oh, me. All right. So I just started doing it because it seemed like it would be interesting, like a hobby, and which it is. Can you get out of hand with it? Easily. Easily. I'm going to work. I went to work one day feeling bad, and I blame Four Loko Black for that. Four Loko Black. Oh man, what a nightmare. I, I felt so bad that day. So I'm not going through this again. It wasn't Four Loko's fault because it says 5-ounce serving. I had a 23.5-ounce serving. That's back when it was 14.0. Oh God. But you know, that's back in the old days when I think they used real sugar. So it was better than the sucralose laden horrible stuff now. And it was natural flavors in that case, the black lime, which is like a dehydrated lime, turns moldy and black, kind of gross, huh? But it has a distinct flavor. And some people buy that as a specialty at specialty grocery stores. And I say, well, I was saying that I was laughing at myself at work. Really, I was like, well, you did it to yourself because you knew what you were playing with fire and you still played with it. But this business of I'm gonna do this all the time. People to me, I'm doing it all the time. Every night every morning they're feeling sick, and it's just repetitive, cyclical thing every day, getting torn, ripped apart and drinking heavily. I said, that's bad news. That's bad business. I'll go back to reviewing Vienna sausages before I do that. Hadn't found any new Vienna sausages in so long. It's the same old brands. Okay, so is Old Charter worth buying? It is worth buying, and it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for, if you say, I want something challenging, I want power, I want strength, I want boldness. Well, yeah, you don't want this because it's none of those things. It's mild, mellow, easygoing, very, very gentle. If you want to call it bland or dull, go ahead. I wouldn't necessarily argue with that. But to say it has all flavors or it's nasty or I wouldn't drink that swill or I wouldn't drink that, what people call it, bomb juice and all of this is ridiculous. It's histrionics. It's a joke. You're being dramatic. You're being hyperbolic. And come on now, get a grip. Let's stop playing games. It's an old standard bourbon. I know they changed it over the years for better or worse. I don't know, probably for worse, but whatever. My friend David said that's what old 69-year-old men drink at the bar. Old Charter. That's an old grandpa whiskey, he said. I said, oh, well, that has a role. Old grandfathers, a lot of grandfathers in the world. There's a lot of old single men who maybe never got married and had children or whatever. If they sip an Old Charter at the bar, that doesn't make it a bad product. It's not trendy. It's not cool. The cool people don't drink it. But to say it's bad is outrageous. I like it. I'm not going to tout it. I wouldn't be looking for it. And I wasn't looking for it when I found it. It was $8, so I bought it. Am I happy I bought it? Yeah, I like the label. It's an old time label. And I was looking at Old Charter advertisements from the 1930s. It's basically the same, like the label never changed hardly. Some little minor adjustments, but it's basically the same. Sazerac, they just say, oh, well, we ain't changing it. I prefer the Evan Williams 1783 small batch. It has a great bang for your buck. It really does, Kevin. It really does. And considering these are the same price, they are the same price. Big bottle, regular size bottle, it's the same price. So Evan Williams 1783, in my opinion, is the clear and present winner. It's got more age, I think. It's got more proof, I know. It's darker, which means it's got a heavier char. It's sour mash. This one doesn't claim to be sour mash. That could be good or bad depending on the drinker. So I'm gonna get the Evan Williams 100 out of 100 opportunities over Old Charter. No knock against Old Charter. I just defended it for 10 minutes, but I wouldn't buy it. No, I wouldn't buy it. All right. Because I can get bourbon for half the price. That's just as dull. And, you know, good, but just dull. So I'm not buying it. Sorry. Chug the bottle. Yeah. I don't think you'll be seeing that in this lifetime or the next. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.